Unions eyeing the Pilbara.
Properly unionising the tens of thousands of workers who make the Northwest tick has been the holy grail of the union movement for a generation. The last time they had a serious look in, we were watching Michael J. Fox go back to the future for the first time. The AWU, ETU and AMWU are negotiating with BHP, which declined to deal with the WMWA, which is made up of the AWU and the MEU.
WTF?
NFI, it's alphabet soup.
Reprint. This alphabet soup needs more consonants in it.
Like Marty McFly, the unions want to do a little time travel and go back to the period when the Pilbara was a stronghold of organised labour. Depending on your politics, that period is known either as the good old days when workers got the wages and conditions they deserved,
Hooray!
or the bad old days when unions made doing business in Australia almost impossible because of restrictive work practices and industrial bastardry.
Computer says no.
Why did they get kicked out of the Pilbara?
2 words, Robe River. Huge iron ore mine in the heart of Red Dog country.
Whatever. All those in favour, say aye.
Unions had a stronghold on the operation all through the 70s and early 80s and were downing tools for the slightest grievance.
And this Chateau LeBlanc 68 is supposed to be served slightly chilled.
We forget this now because proper strikes are not that common anymore. In 2021, Australians walked off the job for about 116,000 days.
Oh, that's a lot.
1974, we went on strike for more than 6 million days.
Wow.
We used to love unions.
Mind if I relax next to you?
We celebrated workplace laziness. We take every gold medal if lying down on the job was an Olympic sport. Life at the Robe River Mining Company changed in 1986 when a union buster named Charles Copeman took majority control. Up till then, managers of the mine were terrified of the unions. Get this, in May of 1986, the union shut down the power plant that supplied the mine and the town of Panawanika. And when a staff member flicked the switch to turn it back on, the company sent the union a letter of apology.
That's nuts.
Copeman sacked the executives and then sacked 1,100 workers, locked them out. So we had ourselves a good old-fashioned picket line. And things got ugly. The wharfies were drawn in because they refused to cross the line. Not like those guys need an excuse to stop work.
All in favour? Aye! All opposed? Nay.
With ships sitting idle at Cape Lambert, the unions thought they had Robe River over a barrel, but then the dock workers were slapped with a secondary boycott writ. The union position was weakened and the solidarity of the workers frayed. They started to turn on each other.
It was him. Let's get him, fellas.
Eventually, the young leader of the ACTU, a bloke named Simon Crean, cobbled together a peace in our times deal with Copeman in January of 87.
What was the aftermath?
Hundreds of workers lost their jobs for good and wages and conditions were driven down. But, and this is the important bit in the context of the current union push into the Pilbara, productivity went up. In 1986, Robe River produced 12.5 million tonnes of iron ore. A year later, and with 400 fewer workers, it churned out 20 million.
And BHP's worried that productivity will drop if the union's allowed back on site.
The big Australians, Area C and South Flank mines, are being targeted first. Unions want guaranteed annual 5% wage rises, improved rosters and higher rates for long-serving tradies. Because, let's face it, they need a pay rise.
You can make brain surgeon money without having to be a brain surgeon. And the doctors of this country are spewing. 8 years at university, hexed out up the eyeballs. All I did was walk down to TAFE on a Thursday afternoon.
A lot of people doing pretty well on the mines.
So why do workers want representation? They don't. The unions have backdoored their way to the negotiating table. Under laws passed by the Albanese government in 2022, trade unions can force employers to deal with them even if they don't represent that many workers if an enterprise agreement has been expired for more than 5 years. The last BHP agreement, apparently one that wasn't even really used and few people knew even existed, quietly died in August 2019.
Bet Rio's watching nervously.
And Gina, and Twiggy, and Chris, they know you don't get rich writing cheques. I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.